Hello friends, we'll be discussing an illustration which will be related to preparation of profit and loss account and journal proper related to it. Now, in the previous video, we have understood about preparation of how a trading account can be prepared, or rather in the previous few understandings we have got to know how trading account is prepared along with the journal proper. Now on the same scenario, same basis, we'll prepare a profit and loss account with the journal proper related to it. So let's start with the same thing. Now, in this question, the profit and loss account has to be prepared. So the details have been mentioned as follows. Let's read it out. Now, revenue, expenses and gross profit for Messrs ABC Traders as of 31st of March 2016 has been given below. We have to read, or rather go through them, and then figure out what exactly we need to prepare. Now, when we talk about gross profit, let's mention that part first. So gross profit has been mentioned here as 4,20,000. Salary has been mentioned as 1,10,000. Discount on the credit side has been mentioned as 18,000. Discount on the debit side has been mentioned as 19,000. Bad debts has been mentioned as 17,000 here. Depreciation has been mentioned as 65,000. Legal charges 25,000. Consultancy fees of rupees 32,000 has been expended. Audit fees has been charged of 1,000 rupees. Electricity amount of 17,000 has been taken care of. Telephone, postage and telegram charges has been also mentioned, which is of 12,000 here. The next one is stationery, which is 27,000. And the interest paid on loan is 70,000, which has been mentioned. Now we have to prepare the profit and loss account, and we also have to prepare the journal proper for Messrs ABC Traders. Now that all the details have been mentioned, all the items related to profit and loss account has been mentioned, let's prepare the profit and loss account first. The first thing that we'll be doing is transferring of gross profit on the credit side. Because it is gross profit, hence it will be mentioned on the credit side. Had it been gross loss, it would have been mentioned on the debit side here. Let's start with that. Now, the first thing that we'll be transferring here starts with the preparation of gross profit and then all the other items. So let's prepare it first, and then we shall explain you each and every detail of it. Now, all the necessary items that were provided to us in the question have been mentioned as per their order. That means all the expenses have been mentioned on the debit side, all the incomes have been mentioned on the credit side. When we talk about income, we have discount received as an income, which has been mentioned on the credit side, and the gross profit that we had as an amount of 4,20,000 has been also mentioned on the credit side here. So total of 4,20,000 and 18,000 discount received has been mentioned on the credit side. Now, all the expenses, for example, stationery, consultancy fees, salaries, wages, etc., has been mentioned on the debit side. Let's read it out. So the first one that we have mentioned here is to salaries, which has been mentioned as 1,10,000. Then comes the legal charges, which is 25,000. Then comes the consultancy fees, which is 32,000 again. The audit fees amounting to 1,000 has been also mentioned. Electricity charges of 17,000 has been also mentioned on the debit side because it is an expense for us. Telephone, postage, telegram, this transaction also has been mentioned on the debit side of profit and loss account. Stationery of 27,000 and depreciation of 65,000 both have been mentioned on the debit side as both of them relate to the profit and loss expense. Like discount received, we had discount allowed as well, which is also an expense for us. Hence, we have mentioned it on the debit side of profit and loss account. The next one is the bad debts that has been taken care of. And the last expense refers to interest amount which has been charged, or rather interest on loans paid. Now, with this, we have figured out that all the debit items have been mentioned, all the credit items have been mentioned. It's time to tally this and figure out whether we have a net profit or net loss in this situation. So the net profit that we have figured out here is 43,000 because credit side has a total of 4,38,000, which is more as compared to the debit side, and the difference, which is net profit, has been mentioned as 43,000. Now we have prepared this profit and loss account. It's time for us to prepare the journal proper of all these entries that we have made here. That means wherever profit and loss account has been credited, it will be mentioned as a total of gross profit account to profit and loss account, for example, because on the credit side of profit and loss account, we have mentioned it as gross profit. Just like that, discount received is an income, hence it is credited on the profit and loss account, or rather credit side of profit and loss account. Hence the entry will be discount received account debit to profit and loss account with all these items. Similar to that, we'll prepare all the debit side items as well. So let's start with the preparation of journal proper on this illustration. So we have mentioned all the entries that we have passed in that specific profit and loss account itself. The first one refers to all the expenses, as all the expenses are being debited to profit and loss account. Hence profit and loss account will be debited and all the expenses will be credited in terms of the journal entries, like the first entry that we have passed here, whereby profit and loss account has been debited and expenses like salary, consultancy fees, legal charges, etc., has been credited here. The total amount comes to 3,95,000. So all expenses and loss has been mentioned. Similar on that basis, we have the credit side of profit and loss account being mentioned with the incomes that we had. So gross profit is 1 and discount received is 1. So discount received account debit to profit and loss account credit side is the second entry that we have mentioned here, amount being 18,000. On that basis itself, gross profit was also moved from trading account to profit and loss account credit side. Hence, gross profit account debit to P&L account credit has been mentioned for 4,20,000. Now, after everything was sorted, we figured out the net profit. Net profit was figured out on the debit side. Hence, profit and loss account will be debited and net profit will be credited here. Hence, this amount, whatever we have figured out, is 43,000. Now, once profit and loss account is closed here, this net profit has to be transferred to the balance sheet and it will be moved under the capital category. That means it will be added to the capital balance. Hence, the entry will be capital always has credit balance as it is going to be added, hence capital account will be credited here. What we are transferring there will be debited there, which will nullify the effect of the journal entries here. So net profit that was credited, if you have to nullify it, you have to debit it. So net profit account debit to capital account is the last entry that we have passed here, which refers to amount being transferred from net profit to capital account in the balance sheet. So with this, the journal proper of this illustration is also completed, and that marks the closure of this specific illustration, where we have figured out what journal entries we are supposed to pass, how these journal entries were framed, and how this formation can lead to preparation of profit and loss account. Ideally, we are going in the reverse way. We are preparing the profit and loss account first so that you can understand how these journal entries are coming up, because if we pass the journal entries first and then we pass the account, it might be a little confusing as to how these entries are being passed or whatever it is. So we are going in the reverse order so that you can understand, yes, it was debited here, hence profit and loss account has been debited. If it was credited here, profit and loss account has been credited, just like that. So thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned with Ekeeda and keep subscribing to Ekeeda.